I told them it was a terrible idea.
You did?
Absolutely. When Tommy first told me about what Lynn was writing, it's a rap musical about Alexander Hamilton. And I said, that's a terrible idea.
But you were still in.
Yeah, they were going to pay me to come to a reading. Of course I was in.
France is following us to revolution. There is no more status quo. But the sun comes up and the world still spins. I helped Lafayette draft a declaration. Then I said I got.
Prior to all of this, you were couch surfing. You used to sleep on the train.
I have slept on the train.
I wonder about the world that you're living in right now and your whole perception of all of it.
Since the Tony announcements, it's been totally crazy. I sort of wake up, there's a car at my house, and then like they point me in a direction and I just go. But at the end of the day, I get to go do Hamilton, which I've been doing for years and years and years and know how to do really well.
I helped Lafayette draft a declaration. Then I said I gotta go. Gotta be in Monticello.
Was this part of your vision? As a child growing up, did you have any idea or any even desire to have all of this happening right now?
No. I knew I wanted to be an artist, you know. I knew I wanted to work in this world, but I think that's sort of as far ahead as I had thought. The parts of rap music that you see on TV and stuff is, you know, looks like people make a good living doing that. But the vast majority of people doing it, that's not, even when, you know, best case scenario, you're touring everywhere, you're getting to go everywhere, but on tours you break even. And then, you know, go home and work whatever you were working before. So the success is that you get to do the thing, that the rest of this never even factored into it at all. I wasn't prepared.
You weren't?
I was not prepared
What's
for
been
anything.
the biggest surprise?
How much reach the show has outside of any sort of typical theater community. I attribute a lot of that to the way that album was produced. We had this moment where we had a listening party for the album when it was first done, and the Roots were there, everybody was there, everybody associated with the album were there, and we all sat and listened to it for the first time, and it was so gorgeous. It doesn't sound like a Broadway cast album, you know? It sounds like a pop album.
So what did I miss? What did I miss?
I get hit up all the time on social media by people who really care about this thing, who have never seen it, who don't, you know, who aren't necessarily musical theater fans or anything like that. Mm-hmm. They just fell in love with the album, and that's amazing.
But do you think about, in your own self-reflection, about the things in David's life that have happened, the choices that you've made that brought you here, and what are those?
Yeah, I've always sort of chosen to go towards things that feel really good, the things that I love to do, and they don't always seem like the smartest choice at the time, you know, for financial reasons or whatever, but if a piece of art like is something that I don't know, you get a feeling if it keeps coming back. That's the thing. You have to do that. The thing about making those decisions enough times over the course of your life is you run out of other skill sets. I can rap, I can act in things, you know, and that's like the window gets smaller and smaller. The options. It's the thing about getting older, right? Your options
and becoming more and more of a specialist in an
Right.
area. You can cast a really broad net when you're younger,
Right.
But if you want to reach the top of something,
Right.
you really do have to focus
You end
on
up
it.
having to focus. Now, fortunately, like I haven't had to focus super hard as an artist yet, I think, which is great. And everyone told me I would. You know, I remember sort of finishing college and a lot of teachers and then a lot of professionals I would come to later in life were saying, you know, there's a really long line for both of these things, like to be a musician or to be an actor. And what kind of actor do you want to be? You should probably choose one and really focus on it. And I couldn't do that. There was no, I couldn't figure that out. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Now, no one was really paying me to do anyway. So like, you know, it didn't seem, there was no clear reason to choose one over the other. I was sitting right at the poverty line no matter what I was doing. So I may as well do it all.
France is following us to revolution. There is no more status quo. But the sun comes up and the world still spins.
So another reason that Hamilton's been a pretty interesting thing, where these worlds have collided in a way that they hadn't for me before, where I get to go on stage and feel like I'm rapping.
So you're the fastest rapper on Broadway. 19 words per 3 second is what you do in the show.
That's okay.
Well, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
What's your favorite line to spit out?
It's in Washington on Your Side. Lin wrote it late. We were already in previews at the Public, and he showed up one day and he said, I have 4 new bars for you. Because you don't do any showing off as Jefferson in the second act, and I don't know why we would not have you do that. and that ends with this, if Washington isn't going to listen to disciplined dissidents, this is the difference. This kid is out, but oh, right. That's, it's the most fun every night. You don't have to clap when I mess it up. But no.
Do you ever mess it up on stage?
The fast stuff is actually the easiest stuff. The thing about fast rapping that, from a technical standpoint, there are only so many words that fit in those spaces, and it's such a precise thing that once you learn it, there's really only one way you can say it. So those you tend not to mess up, but it's the slower stuff that really gets you. I have had some epic brain freezes on stage. Oh my God.
Where was the brain freeze?
Worst one was in We Know. And Oak describes it as me having a stroke on stage. But there's trading off lines. We're sort of trading off lines. He says, you are uniquely situated by virtue of your position. I say, but virtue is not a word that applies to this situation. He says, to seek financial gain, to stray from your sacred mission. And I went, and then I put my head down, and then I turned up stage and just like shook my head. The big problem with doing this at this moment is every single person in the cast is on the surround. They're standing around on the outside, unable to laugh at what's just happened. So everyone in the whole show is trying to hold it together. Javier, Lynn's understudy, was on that day. He's such a professional and jumped right in and like totally saved the scene because he's great and gave me this look in my eye like we're going to get through this together. I turned to Oak, who is just standing behind me going, like just the widest, like open mouth. And Leslie turns to me, taps me twice on the shoulder and continues with the scene. It was the best. You know, after you've done this show hundreds and hundreds of times, like you live for that stuff when people really screw up.
So you like that moment?
Oh my God. It was awesome. I mean, you can't, you know.
If you're in the audience that night, it's a special moment.
And nobody else will ever see a show like that. Those are particularly special because it really is like a family in there, and like it gives you everyone's got that ammunition on me forever.
One of the beauties of what Hamilton is it defies all of the preconceived notions that people have about what works, what's not going to work.
Yeah, I mean, I told them it was a terrible idea.
You did?
Absolutely. When Tommy first told me about what Lynn was writing, it's a rap musical about Alexander Hamilton. And I said, that's a terrible idea.
But you were still in.
Yeah, they were going to pay me to come to a reading. Of course I was in. And then once I heard the music, it was no longer. As soon as you heard any part of it, it made the most sense. You couldn't believe it hadn't been done yet. That's crazy, because hearing the pitch was like, no. Nobody wants that, right? People must ask you that all the time when you're pitching things, right? Who is this for?
All the time. Who's your audience? Why would anybody buy this?
Yeah.
I wonder, in the context of all of the success that you're having at this stage in your career, you're still relatively young, does it worry you? What if this is me peaking right now? And I'm not saying that you will or that you are, but how do you think that through, and what do you think about in terms of what comes next, and how do you position yourself for that?
Well, so there are a few things to this. There are a few different answers to this question, but if I'm peaking right now, I'm fine with that, actually. And I don't know what that means. I don't think it's possible for me to be peaking artistically. I have so many more things to do, and like really none of them involve musicals. So I'm not worried about that. This was such an awesome entry into this world, and if it's the only one I ever do, that's okay. Like it was a really good one. I'm happy to have done it, and there are a lot of other things I want to do. So, you know, intellectually and artistically, like I'm gonna be happy. I'm going to produce work, whether as many people will care about it, maybe not, you know, and that's fine.
What are some of the other things you'd like to do?
Oh man, so many songs to make. Me and my friend Rafael Casal are writing. We write together all the time, and we have been for years. And what's interesting about this platform is now there are ways to sort of make these ideas actually come to fruition. So we've got screenplays, we've got TV shows.
Why are we anywhere? Why do we exist?
Because we were born.
Forget it.
I will, thank you.
Do you think when the contracts are renegotiated for Hamilton, you'll stay?
I don't know. There's so many factors based on other opportunities that are coming, but I clearly love doing the show, and it's amazing to have done it as many times as we have, and for me to love it as much as I do. It's still the most fun I have every day. So, if I do stay, I'll be totally happy with that decision. But, and the other way to deal with this stuff is hire really good people who I trust.
How have you thought about all of this from a business standpoint?
Oh man, hire people who are really good at that. I am not good at that. I had a commercial agent in Los Angeles. I eventually just stopped going on the auditions they were getting. Like commercial auditions were actually killing me.
Do you remember what your last commercial audition was?
Yes. I don't remember what it was for, but I do remember this, like, I walked into a room and it was maybe 50 people in there and they all looked exactly like me. When you talk about having a type, it was just like, oh, this is only light-skinned black dudes with big hair. Like, that's all it is. And there was a set of twins who looked just like me. And I was like, you're gonna cast the twins. If you can get two of us at one time, why would you? Like, they were identical twins who looked like me. And it was just so frustrating. I don't even think I stayed for the audition, actually.
And what's the warm-up you do every night for Hamilton?
We are way past the warm-up
You don't
phase.
do a warm-up?
I don't. I know, I'm terrible.
What?
But
There's no warm-up.
not for me anymore. There used to be, maybe. Here's the thing. I also haven't done a musical before, so I don't know. I would just walk around sort of listening to what other people were doing and then do that.
You're like, me.
Yeah, and then realize how much worse than them I sound doing it and stop. So I'm like kind of too embarrassed to really warm up anyway. But I used to do this. I was stretching and I used to run track, so I used that same warm up. I'd run around the theater and run up and down the stairs and all this stuff. But there's just no time anymore, so I basically going cold. Hopefully all the talking I'm doing over the course of the day has sort of warmed my voice up.
Do you drink anything? Are there any special teas or foods or things like that you either do or stay away from?
No, I find myself eating pizza right before the show a lot. Like, I know that's supposed to be not a thing you do maybe, but I don't know. The thing of it is, like, my voice isn't that pretty. And I've developed these characters to a way that if Jefferson is hoarse that night, Jefferson is hoarse that night. Like, he's gonna be fine. I feel like if I was singing a song like One Last Time, like I would warm up like crazy. Doing Hamilton vocally for me is way easier than like a rap show.
How so?
It just hurts. I mean, the thing about a rap show is, first of all, the situation is better. We got really great mics. We have a great sound guy who's live mixing everything. And if you get quieter, he's gonna get louder. It's in a beautiful theater. Rap shows are in awful bars with terrible sound, screaming into microphones.
Could you do a rap show on the set of Real Biz, do you think?
I could.
Could you do a few lines for me right now? Is this terrible that I put you on? You can be honest
this is
with
fun.
me. Okay, good.
No, I mean, like, if I can think of it, this is fun. Everybody trying to be a boss, not me. I don't need no motherfucking employee. A one-man rubber band stand, rocking beast on a beat like a cop on the street, but I'm not no Johnny Law. Johnny Walker to the jaw, talk a broad up out of bra, brought it back behind the bar, better back up, bruh. I'm broader than Barrington. When the levee break, you need a vest. Best leave you alone unless I divest you of your life, but I digress. I buy red stripe, I tigress, eyes bag. I, captain, I'm first to mate. You sloppy seconds, get a plate. I play the part of party rocker well. I paint it like a rock well. I rock a welfare line like I was headlining it. Rock the bells, raising up the bar. These jumpers is far below. You want a rock star? Why you playing Guitar Hero? They wanted Pac. Y'all better hologram, man, Nito. But unless he back for real, I don't see no rapper hard as me, though. And it ain't no reason why you all getting so Pacino when I'm counting my De Niro, leaning Lenin. That's a Beatle or a revolutionary. Red like the blood on the block. I bleed and I walk like Crip and I talk like Pimp and I rock like Rick. And I got my keys in the lock like keys to a rock. I'ma flip my talk, take my time, take they dimes, make they minds. I write and I write and I wait for the rest of the world to find my pace. And I pace in the room, need space like the moon. All these fake cartoons, get about my face, get about my space. Cause I ain't seen a box yet I can't break. That was really fun.
That was amazing. Thank you for doing that. I know I put you on the spot there. That was so fantastic. But thank you.
Thank you. It's great to get to do that. I mean, like, I've been rapping longer than I've been doing anything probably. So when I can get over myself and just do it, you're right. It is the most fun. It is that's the thing I love to do the most.
All right. Daveed Diggs, it is incredible to have you here.
It's so good to be here in this cute room.
I'm glad no one's called it a cute room yet.
It's adorable.
So
and I want all those nerds. I want them.
you're welcome to all of them. You're the only guest I would give them away to, but you can have them.
Careful.